All right, let's jump into it. Today, we're talking about strategies for objection handling, right? See, the problem that most agents have is they're fearful of an objection because, to be honest with you, they take it personally, right? They think when a client gives an objection, right, they're thinking that it's all about them. It's like, but in actual fact, it's not. See, an objection is not the problem. The problem is your reaction to the objection, right? I want you to really think about that. When I say objection, what are your thoughts, right? What do you play in your head when you hear the word, when you hear an objection? How do you feel when a client gives you an objection? What are your thoughts, right? What's that knee-jerk reaction that you get when it comes to an objection? I want you to think about that. And what sort of objections would you get? Commission objection, marketing plan. I've never heard of you. I have so many agents in the family, right? Why would I go with you? Right? Like, what's that knee-jerk reaction that you have when you hear an objection, right? So the solution really is to understand how the objection plays a part in our everyday interaction with the client, right? And what is an objection, to be honest with you, right? Is it something that we should be avoiding? Right? I want to avoid that like the plague, or is it something that we take on, right? So most agents fall into one of three different kind of camps, right? When it comes to the emotion when they hear an objection. The first one is you're either going to be combative and resistant to the idea of an objection, or number two, you are fearful or nervous to hear an objection, or you're in camp number three, which is, hey, I'm excited for that challenge. Thank you for sharing that objection. I'm in, I'm all in. So the question I have for you is, which camp do you sit in? Is it the combative and resistant, fearful and nervous, or excited to take on the challenge? Where are you at in this? See, an objection for the most part is simply a question in the mind of that client. Nothing more, nothing less. It's simply a question, right? For the most part, an objection usually comes up during a presentation, right? A listing presentation, buyer presentation, and then objection. And again, it's simply a question. So during your presentation with the client, there's some sort of question that may be coming up in their mind, like, what's the commission like, and how's it break down, or what's your marketing plan like? And because I really like a lot of marketing, and how did that question, did it get answered during your presentation? Right? So if you're not answering that important question in the mind of that client during that presentation, or if you answered it but they weren't satisfied with your answer, with answering that question that they had in their mind, that's when you get the objection. And again, it's still just a question, right? And I want you to really embrace that handling objections starts with your mindset towards them. So if your mindset is, hey, I'm so happy you asked that question. I am so happy you need some clarification on this, right? When you have that mindset, you'll be more powerful at handling objections. So therefore, the emotions that we need when it comes to handling objections is one of excitement, plain and simple. Why? Why should we get excited? Well, here's the thing. When a client gives you an objection, it simply means that they like what you're saying. They just need this kind of cleared up, this one section of what you're saying cleared up. Or, they want to work with you, right? But they're testing you. They're like, okay, let me see, when push comes to shove, how would you react if I give you a little bit of push, a little bit of resistance? Right? Keep it in mind, right? This is the most expensive asset that they own. And if you're an easy pushover by a simple question or a simple objection, do I really want to hire you? Right? So this might be a test for you, right? And the third reason why clients, when they give you an objection, means they want to work with you, is they just want to dig deeper and want to know your opinion in a specific situation. right? Like, for example, I have several people that I know that are realtors. Why should I hire you? And, why should I go with someone that I do not know versus someone that I do know? And how would you handle that objection? Right? Again, they're looking to see the confidence that you portray when it comes to handling the objection. So that being said, an objection is not a challenge against you, but rather an opportunity for you to stand out from the competition. Right? Real key here is an opportunity for you to stand out from the competition. Now, if you handle the objection with confidence and assertiveness, it will demonstrate to the client that you can handle this under pressure. Specifically, when it comes to the sale of their home, where it is high pressure sales, right? And again, most expensive asset that they own, they want to make sure that they got the right person for the job. So a client doesn't want to hand over the job of selling their most expensive asset if an agent can't handle a little pressure, a little objection, a little, hey, listen, can you cut your commission? Like, how would you handle that? Are you going to demonstrate the power that you have and the confidence and say, hey, if I can't stand up to you regarding your own worth, how can I stand up to an agent who's trying to beat you down on the price that we set in their home, right? If I can't say something like that to the client to demonstrate how powerful I will be for them when it is negotiating the most expensive asset that they own, why would I hire that agent, right? So if you're easy to say no to, if you're easy to give in, that's not a good thing. If you're wondering why people are not listing with you, even though you cut your commission for them, right? Think about it from that perspective, that their assets that they have, tied into their net worth, tied into their retirement, tied into their lifestyle, and you can't handle an objection for commission. How is it going to be when you're on the negotiating table and trying to get the best price for their home? All right, something to think about. All right, so I wrote down a few kind of best practices when it comes to handling objection, right? So objection handling is very much like baking a cake. When you follow a recipe, you get the results. So here's the recipe. So number one, never argue with the client, even verbally or in your mind. Very important. Never argue with the client. Remember, the people are simply doing the best that they can with the skills and the tools that they have. So you don't come in there combatively, right? Even though the objection, and you could be so excited to handle that objection. You're like, can't wait. Yes, give it to me. And then you go right into your handler. That's not the right approach, because even though you may come across very sensitive and very, empathetic, but the reality is it's still this. It's still a debate. It's still an argument. Hey, the client comes with this and your client comes with that. And we have to avoid that. Don't argue. Okay. Number two is learn to listen. Really learn to listen, right? Ever heard the saying that the music is the silence between the notes? Sales is the silence between the answers. So really learn to hear that in their voice. Understand, hey, listen, if I know how to handle my objection, it really starts off by listening first to what it is that's important to them, right? Not just the words, but the situation. Really listen to it. Number three I wrote down is don't jump to conclusions. Don't jump to conclusions, right? To keep yourself from making assumptions, use phrases like, help me understand that a little bit more. Could you clarify this for me? Tell me more about that. See, when you use phrases like that, it allows the client to expand and really explain themselves, right? And we don't want to be jumping to conclusions. That would be combative. Again, going back to that whole idea, it's like they give an objection, you're jumping to a conclusion, it's like boom, 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 boom. No. Listen, let them explain it, really get the details of it before you handle that objection. Okay. Number four, learn to speak slowly. See, when you're handling objections, a slowdown of your pace can calm the situation. And I know that when someone gives you an objection, very important is, what's that facial expression when they say it to you? Like be careful with that. Okay. So we want to learn to speak slowly, calm it down, right? I know we get amped up. I know we get excited, especially those of you that are really powerful agent that know the scripts, know the dialogues, can't wait to just like, boom, 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 let me hammer you down on that commission one. Slow down, right? Pace it down. You want to calm the situation. Next, I wrote down number 5 is learn to speak softly. Right? When you speak softly, it removes the resistance, it calms people down so that you can handle their concerns, right? It really, when you start to speak softly, empathy comes up, right? You change that tone, right? And when you do that, you're making them feel a little bit more calmer, okay? Number 6 I wrote down is be persistent. Remember, so long as you're being considered, you're in that game. So you just need to answer their concerns appropriately. That's all. Just answer the concerns. Again, it's a question in their minds, right? Number 7 I wrote down is be sure to validate their objection. This is really important. Be sure you validate their objection. You give them that approval, right? You let them know that you understand their concern and where they're coming from. See, what this will do is this will remove any sort of resistance because they're probably expecting you to kind of go at them and push back. So we want to make sure we validate their objection, right? To let them know that we completely understand their concerns and address them. Number 8 I wrote down is always repeat back the client or the client's objection. And what that tells them is that you've heard what they said and you've listened and heard what it is that they're saying. So that they know that you are, in that right frame of mind to answer this question, right? See, right there and then when you do that, when you repeat back that objection, right, the resistance disappears. And then you can handle that objection. Now, here's what I would say to you. Many times when someone gives you an objection, it may be long-winded. Like it really could be long-winded. It could be like, hey, Danny, I love what you have to say. Everything's great. This is wonderful. However, you know what? My mom's best friend's sister is a realtor. My wife's second cousin from a third mother is a realtor. And, my best friend's dad's really, like, I got all these realtors, right? And they keep going on and on and on to explain why they can't list with you. So when you repeat back, are you seriously going to repeat back everything they just said to you? No, you're going to paraphrase that. You're going to look at them and say, hey, William, I get that. You know a lot of realtors, right? And to be honest with you, I would be surprised if you didn't. And I appreciate you sharing this with me. Thank you. See, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to paraphrase what it is that I've heard and repeat it back to them. So what I hear you saying is this. Thank you. And this is real important because when you get an objection like, can you cut the commission? Right? If they said to you like that, hey, William, can you cut the commission? I want to get some contents on why they feel that they should cut the commission. Did another agent pop in here and say that they were willing to do it for less? Like, I just need to understand, why would they say that to me? Like that particular phrase, would you cut the commission? I need some contents, right? Did you read this, that everyone's charging less? So was this an article that you read? Like, why would you ask me that? Right? And so how do you approach that? Right? I want to say, so what I hear you saying is that you want to make sure you maximize the sale of your home and get as much money in your pocket. Is that correct? Is that why you're asking to cut the commission? See what I'm doing there? Or they may say, well, no, it's not because of that. It's, I had so-and-so come over and they said they would do it for 4%. See, now that's a different handler. That would be a different handler. That's now you separating yourself from another agent, right? But if they said, yeah, I want to maximize the sale of my home, again, that's a different handler that you may want to use, right? So repeating back that objection in a way that you understand, in a way that you can direct the conversation, right, is key. So until you understand that you can't change direction, 80% of the objection handling takes place in your mind. So you need to really understand the objection. Don't buy into it. The more certainty that you can create, the easier it is for people to choose you. And when you get an objection, you should get really excited that they brought it up, because objection is not a no, it's a yes with kind of an asterisk on it. It's like, help me understand a bit more before we move on. That's all an objection is. So I kind of got into the philosophy today about objection, where your mindset needs to be when it comes to handling objection. Tomorrow, I'm going to go into a very amazing technique that will pretty much guarantee handling objection. It's a technique that so don't miss tomorrow's call, because tomorrow's call is going to be really good, right? It's all going to be in the technique that everyone should use when it comes to handling objection. Now, I just want to give everyone a reminder, because a couple more people came in late, that we will not have Danny's Daily Huddle on Wednesday and on Thursday. Okay, so just Wednesday and Thursday. I'm traveling. I'm actually going to go see. I'm going to go see Tom Ferry in Dallas. So, hey, if any of you guys have a question for Tom directly, you want me to ask him a question, like, hey, ask him this question. Send me an email. Send me a text message. Right? Like, honestly, if there's any question that you want to ask Tom directly, I'll even have him do a video for you. Right? So he'll send you the answer to it. So if there's anything, like if you're like, hey, I can't get a hold of the boss. Yes, this is a great opportunity, because I will be seeing him on Wednesday and on Thursday. So if you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, does anyone have any questions, concerns, anything in their business that they need help with? No? If that's the case, then please unmute yourselves. Please unmute yourselves. All right. And I am curious, what day is today?
Money-making day.
It's a money-making day. If you're on this call, it's a money-making day for you. So what do you have to do today to move the needle in your business? You guys are awesome. I'll talk to all of you tomorrow. Thanks so much.